Hello, Wisters. How's everybody doing today? I apologize. I'm a few minutes late, and I did post a little thing letting everybody know it might be, 10 to 15 minutes, but I actually got back over here pretty quickly. I had still, getting stuff done. I was running errands this morning, and I apologize. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes because I did say I was going to be late, and I do see that somebody's on. Please tell me that you can hear me because I'm at the shop and it's kind of like a cave here, so I don't have the best reception. Good morning, Kate. How are you doing, dear? That shows two people. So please tell me that you can hear me. Because like I said, it's kind of like a cave in here right now. Good morning, you can hear me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good morning. I see three of you. Sarah, Angie, loud and clear it. Yay. Too bad I didn't bring my coffee with me or nothing. Whatever. That's okay. I'm glad to hear that everybody's doing well this morning so far. That's great. It's a wonderful Sunday morning. Right at the new moon, which is amazing. I love the new moon. Anywho, I'm going to try to give a couple more minutes because I know there was quite a few people that wanted to jump on. No coffee. Well, okay. I just didn't bring any to the shop with me. I did have 2 cups of coffee this morning because I'm an early riser, so I've been up since 4. A girl could always use more, though. At least this girl can. Love my coffee. Anywho, so I guess I'll jump right in since I've got a few of you on this morning. Gosh, I'm glad to see everybody. So this live is going to be on the differences between candle and like jar spells. Girl, it's Sunday. I wake up at 4 in the morning regardless. Oh, yay. I'm glad you like my background because it's my new shop. We're not open yet. I'll give you a sneak peek. So this is my back wall. Excuse the mess because I'm not 100% ready. But this is my herb wall. And those 2 shelves are my deity and Sabbats incense blends. And then I'm going to turn the camera around. You guys get a sneak peek because I have not allowed anybody in here at all. How can I turn the camera around? Okay, here we go. All right, so this is what, excuse the bathroom. I wanted an herb wall like that in my house too. But, so here we go. We're just doing a quick scan of the shop. We're still a little bit of a mess, but we're getting there. That shelf thing is going in the back. And ta-da! There we go. Okay. Back to me. Okay. That was my sneak peek. We were honestly hoping to open yesterday, but I'm still waiting on some licensing and permits through the city and a couple of things to get done. Like in the back, we're going to have 2 meditation rooms and got to get the carpeting put in and then the sink installed for the back. Let's see. So cool. Where are you? We are located in Yreka, California. Okay, so I'm not supposed to be plugging. I apologize. I'm just very excited about this. It's an endeavor we've been wanting to do for years. Would be there constantly and probably spend way too much money. Yeah, I probably spent way too much money building this shop, so that's okay. Anywho, okay, so I'm also kind of doing my live on the fly today. Yeah, it is a bit of a jaunt, but If you ever do come this way, I've got a spare bedroom. More than welcome. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it very much. Anyway, so today's live I'm kind of doing on the fly. I did write up my notes, but I don't know where I put them. I have no idea where I put them at all. So, but I know what I want to say. So here we go. Thank you. Thank you, ladies, very much. I do appreciate it. I'm very excited about this chapter in my life. And when we do get everything officially open, hopefully in the next 2 or 3 weeks, I will make sure that we do a huge shout out to everybody so that you all get to, and ultimately, hopefully get a chance to swing by one day. Anywho. Okay, anyway, so today is the differences between candle and jar spells. Okay, I know a lot of people are familiar with one or the other. For years, too many notes on paper everywhere. Yeah, that's kind of how my brain is right now. For the longest time, I did only candle spells. And, just nice little simple candle spells. I used to anoint my candle with an oil or something like that and do the candle spells. The way that I was taught is that doing a candle spells are, good morning, Miss Ellen, are for the now, the immediate. You're putting it out there into the universe with the element of air. You can dress the candles with herbs and oils and write on them and do whatever you want. But the way that I was taught is that candle spells are for the now. And then we have our jars, and I mean, I just grabbed a couple of cute little jars. This is a great little one to use because it's got a nice seal on top, which is nice for if you want to add oils or anything like that. If your spell ends up being for like a freezer spell, these are great little jars for being able to throw it in the freezer because they're nice and thick. Small mason jars are great for that also. But anyway, jar spells, here's another little one. Or even, capped, what are they? The cork top jars for putting in, your items inside using the cork top and then melting candle wax over top of it. I like to seal it with the candle wax also, if I do that. But your jar spells, unlike candle spells for the right now, jar spells are not only for the future, they're for the now and the future. So the cool thing about jar spells is like if you're doing a self-love spell or weight loss spell or return to sender spell, or like I like to say, put them in the freezer spell because somebody's done pissed me off in a bad way, usually. It's one of those kind of spells that you can pick up, give it a little shake. Money spells are great for these. You just give it a little shake and it helps to continually reactivate it. That's what jar spells are for. So they're not just for the now, but they're also for the future. Something that you can come back to. You don't have to do the entire incantation over again. You don't have to do, say the words again. It's in your thought all the time. You walk up to it, you see it, you give it a little shake, it reactivates it. So it's like a continual on and on and on spell. And there's so many things that you can do with both of them. You can add your oils, your herbs, your stones, chips, graveyard dirt. I'm trying to think of all the different things that you can add to them. Candles. I do have a I didn't know we are supposed to shake. You don't have to. It's just the way that I was taught. It's just to help reactivate it. It's something that I was taught. And it does help. It's constantly, when something is at the forefront of your brain, you see it all the time, it stays at the forefront of your brain, you're continually manifesting it. So and I think that's why I was taught that. Anyway, with both of these, you can constantly, you can add anything that you want to them. You could use any kind of candle you want also for your candle spells. You could use, the big fat jar candles, throw chips on there. You could do anything like that. Now those kind of candle spells, you can put out and relight and put out and relight. Usually these guys, when you light it, usually you let these guys run out, or you use the birthday candles if you don't have a lot of time, because they do burn a lot faster. I've also heard you can recharge spells during moon cycles. Hello, daughter. Yes, you absolutely can. It's same thing like you recharging your stones, recharging your own personal energies during the moon cycles, sun cycles also. Don't forget about the sun cycles. But yes, you can recharge your spells during the moon cycles. Good morning, dear. So, I know that that's not a lot of information, but I'm hoping to answer a bunch of questions also this morning. Birthday candles, that's an awesome idea. Oh, they're wonderful. Give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay, so sometimes I will take a birthday candle, and I'll even do it with my jars if I've got to do, I'm just doing a quick activation, to get it going, get it started. My tattoo. This one? Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, you can use these they come in every single color, every color. But what I like to do is I like to light the bottom just to melt the wax a little bit and stick it on top of my jar while it's still wet, right? And then not only does it activate, but the wax melts right over top of the jar, sealing the jar. I love that little trick. I never, ever, ever thought about it. And then, of course, my wonderful Aunt Gypsy, I know I mentioned her quite a bit, was like, why don't you just do this? And I was like, are you shitting me? That's so simple and amazingly awesome. But anyway, so I like to use birthday candles even for the jar spells, because it helps. It's kind of like a win-win. I get the best of both worlds. But if you can, get your hands on just a tiny little, I use these. These are bottle toppers for birthday candles. You put them on top of the bottle. Birthday candle fits on top. And that's what they're called. They're called birthday candle bottle toppers. And they work great. You could put it on top of a bottle. You don't have to. They sit perfectly on the counter. But birthday candles are quick, easy, fast to find. If you cannot get into a shop, it's okay. Run down to the grocery store, run down to the Dollar Tree or whatever, grab a few birthday candles. And as we all know, if you can't find any certain colors, they always have white available. Birthday candle bottle topper. They're pretty awesome. I love them. That way, it was kind of made for, instead of lighting a cake, lighting like a 6-pack of beer with candles is what these were made for. So anyway, these are awesome. And they fit the birthday candles perfectly. So yeah, just had to show you that because I love them. I think they're awesome. Does the size of the candle truly matter? Well, I think it varies on your spell. Like a while back, I did a protection spell. And I needed to use a rather tall taper because part of that spell, I needed to put a pin in for every person I wanted protected. And it's got to melt down past every pin. So in a case like that, yes, you want to use a bigger candle. In a case of doing personal small spells, no, I don't think it matters. You can use the tapers, you could use the chime candles, you can use the birthday candles, you could use a large candle that you want to, relight every now and then or whatever, just to keep it going. It doesn't matter. It's all about what feels good to you. That's exactly how I feel about it. Cord cutting would need a little bigger. Yes, I agree. Chime candles are perfect candles for cord cutting. They do take a little bit of time, but you are correct. That's more of a, let's see, we've had a live from both Kathy and Crystal on cord cutting. I've never done a cord cutting spell. I've just been very lucky. I've never had to, but I've never done one. But I've always been told that, or at least also by seeing their lives and reading and stuff like that, that chime candles are used mostly for cord cutting. So yes, Angie, I'm going to say you are correct on that, at least from what I've read and what I've seen from our other Crohn's lives. I'm sorry, I need to fix my shoe. It's bugging me. Very affordable. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Usually like doing bigger candles for longevity and to light again and continue the work. See, like I said, it's entirely up to you. You can do it totally your own way. I like short and sweet. I prefer short and sweet, but I also like to do, like if I have a health candle that's dressed and it's for anybody. And when I say that I'm lighting a candle for that person, I light this candle. It's a big, fat candle that whenever I say that I'm lighting a candle for a person, this is the candle that I light. And when I made this candle, when I dressed this candle, I dressed it to be open for anybody who needs it, So yes, in a case like that, I like to use a bigger candle. Yeah, I'm trying to think of where I was going with this, but I think I was just commenting on your comment. But I do like, that's where I was before I hit that. I do like short and sweet. I'm a pretty busy gal, and my practice is very important to me. But I also need to have a good balance. So sometimes my morning ritual, even to ask for a blessed day, I use a birthday candle. Sometimes if I'm feeling really bad and I need extra help, I switch to a chime candle or a jar. So I can walk up to it, hold it, give it a shake, and activate it again. And say, give me that blessed day because I need it today. God help anybody who runs in my path because I'm just on a rampage already. Well, we try to stay away from that. So yes, there is, I do like short and sweet, but sometimes you gotta add a little bit more. I do like to keep them quick. I'm not much of an incantation person, but I'm learning. I'm getting there. Anyway, but I'm a firm believer that our words have power, so it doesn't matter what you say or how many words you say or use. Our words have power. You could say something as simple as "leave me the fuck alone," and there you go, right? Anywho, I'm rambling at this moment because I do tend to do that. I'm sorry. Pop on and see if we have any other, I'm going to stay on, of course. Let's see if we have any other comments or questions, anything else that I can help with while I'm on here. I really hate that this is hella short, and I don't like short lives. But when I originally thought of doing this live, I didn't think it was going to be that easy to explain. Anywho. Any kind of questions I'm totally open to also, like asking about, and if it's something that I can't answer, I'm sure any of our other crones will be able to pop on here. I might have to tag one of them in it or something like that, but I don't mind. And I hope they don't kill me later. Anywho, now you know what the other kind of candles that I like to use that are, what do I anoint my oils with? Oh, okay. Like what oils or what do I anoint my candles with? I got you. So I like to, there are multiple things. Sometimes I will make an oil blend, like the communication oil that I made a couple weeks back. I'll use the communication oil or just some oils. If I don't have those herbs, I will anoint my candles with herbs. And depending on what I need to do, I will also anoint the candle with my own blood. I will prick my finger and rub it on the candle. So most commonly for anointing your candles, which are the same exact items that you could put in your jars, are herbs, oils, drawings, like carving into the candles. Let's see. My common herbs would be rosemary, basil. I like to add chips, and depending on what I'm doing, sometimes I'll use black onyx chips. My self-love jar that I did, of course, I added rose quartz to that. So it really depends on what you're wanting to do. How often should you remake a self-love jar, for instance? Or a spell jar. I jumped ahead on that one. How often would you remake a spell jar, for instance, self-love jar? So I actually have a spell jar or a self-love jar in my bathroom that I've had in there for probably 7 or 8 months now, and I still can feel the energy off of it. So I'm not going to remake it yet. Personally, I will say, if you can still feel energy from it, energy with it, or a connection with your jar, your spell jar that you have done, it is still working. If you feel disconnected or it feels mute to you, that's when I would redo it or do a new one. Bury it, empty everything out. however you feel that you need to dispose of it, and make a new one. That's how I would do it. But I personally feel as long as you still feel that it's working or somewhat of a connection to it, it's still good. I mean, they can last for a very long time. You use crystal chips a lot. I do love using crystal chips. They're great. I do like to, when I'm doing if I'm doing my candles. Hi, apologies for my tardiness. No worries, love. That's what we have rewatch for. Yay. If I'm really wanting to dress these candles, or even the smaller birthday candles, which I do dress those also, and I'm wanting to use oils and herbs, I will drip my oil on, and I'll even use, my finger to rub it on there. And then I'll roll it in my herbs. If I'm using one herb, obviously I only roll it in the one herb. If I'm using multiple herbs, I will put all of the herbs that I want to use in a little dish, mix them up, and then roll this with the oil on it into those herbs. And then my candle is completely dressed and ready to light. So yeah, there's that. One at home and one I keep in the truck with me when I travel. Oh, that's a very good idea, because I only have my one in my bathroom. But I see it every single morning and every single night, no matter what. And I haven't taken it with me on trips or anything, but I know it's there. So it's like constantly in my brain. It's there. And it is a self-love jar. And I love it. You may have said this, but do you dress your materials at specific times, Linneray, or do you do it anytime? You could do it anytime you want. And I'm going to say it depends on your spell. It depends on what you need to do. Sometimes the need, we're going to go with, self-love again, right? Sometimes the need to feel good about ourselves just doesn't happen to work around the moon cycles or the sun cycles or, awakening morning sun, right? Well, what if we're feeling bad in the evening, but it's not the right moon cycle? I don't care. If I feel I need it, I'm doing it. I'm going to do it right then and there. So I don't think you have to do it exactly at specific times. Now, yes, there is numerous lists out there that say certain times of the day are better for certain spells, money, love, luck, lust, whatever, employment. And then there's certain days of week that they say are good. There's certain moon cycles that are great for certain things. But at the same time, your at that moment need is extremely important. And I feel that can override any of the cycles, any of the times of day, any of the days of the week, any of the moon cycles, if your need is intense enough or intense enough, or your intent is there, do your thing. Totally new on this, and I've gotten some conflicting from not great sources. I'm sorry, love. I'm very sorry about that. I know a lot of us, we've had this discussion before, back and forth, and there are so many people out there that tell you you can only practice certain ways. And one thing I absolutely love about this group is everybody really feels, in all honesty in their heart, you do you. You always do what feels good to you, because that is what's going to make what you do more powerful. So I'm sorry you've had conflicting information. It sucks. We've all been there. Oh, hello, Miss Serenity. No worries. No worries. I was a little late starting, but not as late as I thought I'd be. Let's see, what did Sarah say? I look at using the sun and moon as an amplifier rather than a specific time, only in specific things, if that makes sense. It makes absolute sense. Absolutely, it makes sense because I do the same thing. So it makes total sense to me. I absolutely love to use the sun and the moon's energies. And I know that every one of you understand what I'm saying. The energy and the warmth that you feel from the sun, it could be the coldest damn day out there, but you get that peak of the sun and you just feel alive and you feel that energy, right? If I'm doing something and I need that energy, I might step outside. Well, if it's freezing outside, I'm going to go to the window where I can feel the sun, right? Same thing with the moon. If I'm doing something in the evening, the energy of the moon is off the charts crazy. I don't care what phase it's in. And if you feel that energy from that, all it's going to do is amplify you. That's, it's great. Let's see. Agree, definitely feel comfortable and think. Love so much about this group. Hearing different ways has also made me try new things. Right? And that's what's amazing about this group is everybody does things differently. It could be, the millimeter of a difference, but there's a little difference there, right? It's awesome. Definitely feel comfortable and think I found the right place. Oh, that's wonderful to hear because I absolutely adore this group. Every one of you ladies are Wisters to me. And for those of you who've not heard me say that word before, it means witchy sisters. That's my word for witchy sisters. And every one of you are my Wisters. And the way that everybody raises each other up in this group is amazing and helps each other out. I mean, what more could we ask for? Getting hung up on the proper way that someone says or do instead of how I feel. You know what? And I'm not going to lie. I get hung up on it too every now and then, especially if it's a spell or something that I'm not familiar with. I'm learning a different path right now. And there are specific ways you're supposed to do things. And some of it I'm having a hard time with, but I'm working through that. We all get hung up on it. It's okay. But I have to constantly remind myself when I'm doing something new that if it doesn't feel good to my gut, maybe I shouldn't be doing it. Or maybe I should find a different way to do it if I really want to do that spell. Maybe I should find something else that feels good to me. So, getting stuck on certain ways is okay. Don't beat yourself up, please. Sitting under the sun always makes me warm and loved, not me bundled up watching on the porch, right? Yes, Mandy also gets hung up on the right way, but we're working on that also. Let's see, I'm trying so hard to be led by my personal intuition and intentions. It can be hard because people are so persnickety. Love that word. It's one of my favorite words. That they are right. But this is my personal focus, and I adore you. You got to remember, dear, this is your journey, not theirs. You got to do it your way. If it's not your way, it doesn't feel right. Your way. Tell them to kick rocks. I absolutely agree with you, Serenity. I love the moon in the evening. And because I get up so early and I'm usually leaving for work before the sun's even up, I get to watch the sunrise as I get to still see the moon out early in the morning, and I get to see the sunrise come up. And I have to be careful because that darn moon, I absolutely love the moon to death. If I'm not careful, I'm going to end up in an accident from trying to stare at the moon instead of concentrating on driving, because sometimes I could just get so mesmerized by it. But I totally get it. And learning, but still being cautious. Well, you know why. Yes, we have to be cautious. Sorry, I'm trying to jump through the Yes. Thank you. Well, I'm glad you guys like the term. Feel free to use it all you want. The moonlight off the sparkling snow gives me life. Not sure what it is about it, but it's like a fast battery charge. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep. I don't have the Encyclopedia of Demonology, but I do have a couple of other demonology books those are the ones that I'm reading right now. Right? It is so hard not to stare at them. You can't help it. When I don't care who you are and what stage of this path you're on, whether you're 20, 30, 40 years in, or 2, 3, 4 weeks in. The moon has such a pull, and not just because it's beautiful or anything like that, but if you look at the scientifics of the moon, the way that it pulls at the ocean, the way that it pulls at the earth, the way it pulls at us too. And then once you actually tap into that, you're done. It controls you. You can't go back. That's how I feel about it. But I love the moon. Right? Hang out at the stop sign just a little bit longer. That's me. My kids never ask me why I stare at the moon because I catch them doing the same thing. Thank God for that. But they're also adults. So, the grandkids, they like to point out the moon. Oh, wow, look, it's just a sliver today. Look at it. Or it's in this phase. Or the full moon is beautiful tonight. And I'll be like, oh, shit, how did I not look up right now? But yeah. Now, I know that we're kind of jumping back and forth on random things, and I do absolutely adore that too. But do we have any other questions that have to do with candles and jar spells? Or anybody that popped on late that would like me to go over something or any questions? I'll definitely go over those too. Kid, I would watch the moon in the car and think... Okay, wait. Get out of there. Think I was special, that the moon was hollow. You know what, Serenity? As a kid, I thought that for years. I didn't think I was special. I thought the moon was just following me. I was like, why is it always there? What's going on? I didn't understand it. I was little. It's pretty cool, though. Isaac does love the moon. Husband is irritated that where we are moving is partially... Oh, that part does suck. I hate that part. That's one of the things that I hated about living in the city, is that there was so much light that I couldn't see the moon as well. Now I'm, up in all the way at the top of Northern California, and, we live in a small town, so there's not very many lights, and I do adore that. I love the fact that everywhere I go, I can see the moon. Sarah has a question. Cannot type today. That's okay. Honey, I can't type half days anyway. Is it more effective to do a candle and jar spell together? I think it's all about preference. Some people are going to tell you yes. I remember when I was young, I was told that I had to do a candle with every spell, whether I did a jar spell or obviously a candle spell. But it's up to you. If you feel that that candle is going to help, because you got to remember, candle colors also have their own correspondences, right? So if you're wanting to have as many different correspondences in there, use the candle. If even a birthday candle is not quick enough for your spell, don't do it. You know, do what feels good to you. If you feel that it's going to amplify it or it's going to help seal it, like I said, you know, doing a birthday candle on top of the jar to help seal, I do think that's one of the best tricks my aunt ever taught me. Go for it. You don't feel like using a candle? Don't do it. Do it. You do you. Damn it. Let's see. I know that a lot of you answered her question also. Let's see. I feel so intimidated doing my own thing. But is it okay to create your own thing and not follow a spell, even as a newbie? Okay. I know I'm on this you do you rant. Okay, I want to answer this one a little bit differently, though. For the most part, do what feels good to you. But if you're doing something more on the grayer side or darker side, you might not want to just do your own thing. Do your research. Make sure that you put up your protections. I'm learning that with demonology, you literally you have to do those the way that they say. You know, so it depends on what you're working with, what entity or deity you're working with. Okay, so in cases like that, you might not get to go with your own intuition or your own gut fully. I hope that makes sense. But as for healing spells, self spells, money spells, absolutely go with what feels good to you. On the darker side, it's better to be safe. That's how I feel. Okay, I hope that answered that question. And anybody else, definitely comment in if, you have any advice for that question. Okay, please. That's what we all do, right? Moon still shines brightly. I can't always see the stars, but the moon. That's awesome. I'm glad that you can still. I was taught the same thing, and now I have my own little way. It's exactly how I feel a lot of times. It's all your own practice and your own journey. It would only make sense to alter things and do what feels right. No one knows yourself like you do. And I absolutely agree with everybody's comments on this. Absolutely. Your spells cannot be successful if you don't feel it, if it's not part of you, right? But when you're just starting out in a different part of the path and it's more towards the darker side, please be cautious. That's just the best way I could put that, is please be cautious. Okay? Good. I'm glad. It's a huge game of fuck around and find out that I'm not going to play. Yes, exactly. I'm all about the light, but I do need to learn protections well. This is my fear, to not be protected. Thank you. always protect yourself. Always protect yourself. I'm a huge, huge person of that. Even in the store, even in the shop in here, I'm sure Mandy has also. I've got different herbs at different corners. We're not even open yet, right? But there's people out there that get jealous. There's other witches out there that I'm not comfortable with. So the second I got the keys to the doors of this building, I put up my stones and my herbs in certain areas and in corners inside this building to get my protections up immediately. Because even though I love all of my Wisters here, there's people out there that I don't love and that I don't trust. And I'm not taking any chances. You know what, Christy, I agree with you. That's not a bad idea. We'll have to discuss that because I'm sure every one of us have a different way. And I don't just mean every one of us crones, but I mean every one of us in this group have different ways of protecting ourselves that would be able to help each other out. Because everybody's got a different way of protecting themselves. Trying to jump back, I had to force myself to get up. That's okay. Protection, protection, protection. Sorry, I'm back on the comment that Catherine had posted. Force myself to get up. Facts, not be letting anything just hang around, right? I don't play with that. Nothing's going to be allowed unless I'm inviting that. Tag along, I guess I should say, personally. New to spellcasting and trying to work through self-doubt. Kimberly, I'm going to be honest with you. I have been practicing for, 28, 29 years now. I'm trying to think of how old one of my sons is, and that's when I started practicing. So somewhere around there. And every once in a while, I still have self-doubt. And if you don't question yourself constantly, you're not learning. We're never going to know everything. And that's one thing about this path. It is a constant book of lessons. Constant. And I am a firm believer that doubt is okay. We're allowed to doubt ourselves. Because if we doubt ourselves, we're only going to make the spell better by doing more research before we cast, right? So, my thoughts, but there we go. You will get there. You will both get there, and I have no doubt about that. Okay. I've heard a quote before about if it's a spell for you, do it however feels right for you. And if it's for someone else, deity, demon, etc., do it the way they want. It was more eloquent than that, but I can't remember it. But you know what? That is how I feel also, or at least how I was taught. And I do feel this way. I absolutely agree. If it's absolutely for you, even if it's a get well spell for a friend, you do what feels good to you. But if it's for a deity, a demon, certain angels, do it the way they want. It's going to work better in your favor because they have their ways. Well, oh, that would be a good live for sure. Yes, I think it will. Visiting that shop soon. I'm happy for you. Thank you. Thank you, honey. I appreciate that. That's the first question I'm always asked. How do I protect myself? There are so many ways. There are so many ways. Ridiculous amounts of ways. And that's another thing, that you do what feels good to you. You know? I know somebody who, before she does a spell, she spits on the floor, and that's her protection. Okay, it works for her. Let her do her thing. I'm not going to spit on my floor, but but I'm going to throw salt down there if I have to, So we're back at the you do you. Love to see more Dark Gray Magic lives. I went back and watched the old ones, but this is a path I love, and I don't have many people to talk to it about until this group. We have so many different paths in this group. It's absolutely crazy, and I love it. I love it. And there's paths that I knew nothing about before I joined this group. And there's some paths that I started digging into and found that I really enjoy them. And I enjoy working with them. So, hello, Miss Gina. It's okay. No problem, dear. Blow cinnamon and everywhere for easy, fast protection. See, we all have our own ways. I like salt. Serenity likes cinnamon. And it's about what feels good to you. I'm going to keep veering us over just in case any other jar or candle spell questions, because get me started on my cinnamon brooms on every door. You know what? And I think part of the reason why I don't do cinnamon is because I don't like it. I don't cook with it. My stomach definitely doesn't like it. Cinnamon and we just don't connect. I don't connect with cinnamon, so I don't use it. I hardly use it in my spells. If there's something else that I could use that's going, whether it be for protection or love or money or prosperity or anything like that, quit calling me an alien, child. She calls me an alien all the time. But cinnamon and I just don't have a connection, so I don't use it. But I'm not telling you not to. For goodness sakes, you do you. And if it feels good to you and it's something you want to use, do it. Like Angie just said, that's me doing me. And I'm not much for following the rules. I guess I really never have been. There's one place I follow the rules, and that's at my job. And if their rule's not correct, I'll usually make them change it. So I'm kind of that way. Ew, see, I've not done a lavender broom, and I love lavender. I might have to do that. I have so much lavender at my house. We planted, I want to say 100 lavender bushes on my property last summer. So I can't wait for this spring when they all start coming into bloom. So many different kinds of lavender. Well, that's your job, is rules. Yeah, you are correct. My job is enforcing rules. So yeah, I have to make them, I have to enforce the rules. But sometimes even those don't make sense. And then I'm like, let's fix this. We got to make them change it. Anyway. It's heaven to me. But, well, it is a bunch of lavender. But there was 2 methods to my madness on that. Because we did creeping thyme, lavender, and rosemary. And I'm talking a good 100 of each plant. And they're pretty close together. Now, 2 reasons I did that. We get a lot of deer in our yard, and they were getting all up in the front. They were blocking us from even going up our front steps. So they're a deterrent for the deer. Reason number 2, the bees and butterflies and pollinators absolutely love them. And I love the bees, and so I'm trying to help them and give them as much to pollinate off of. And then 3, I pick and dry, or, harvest and dry those herbs the most. So instead of buying it, I'm growing it. 3 reasons. Those were my 3 reasons. I live near some lavender fields. They have a homestead stand with stuff. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. We used to have a lavender field out here. It's still there, but it's not really. COVID kind of screwed that place up. So now they're failing and a bunch of the lavender's dying, and I feel bad about that. If we all followed the rules, we wouldn't be here, right? Yeah, no kidding. I agree. Absolutely. Hoping this year I can start a small beekeeping for wax and honey. If you need any pointers, I got you. Mandy and her dad and I, when we had our ranch, which was many, many moons ago, we had a good couple dozen hives. And Mandy and I would actually harvest the honey and the wax and did it all the time. A matter of fact, I might still even have, I'd have to look through boxes, but I might still even have some beekeeping stuff. I might have some suits. I might have some smokers. But I'm not sure if my husband has been holding on to those because he wants to do it again or if he's just forgot that he has them. And I got to double check because he could have also given them away to somebody else that was starting up bees. But anyway, I got lots of pointers. I absolutely loved it. I loved it. Right? Yeah. And it really doesn't take much. Is there something you can do with the bees that pass naturally? So I have done things with the bees that pass naturally. When I've given some bees to a friend of mine that makes like resin bug jewelry, and she's made some gorgeous earrings and pendants with them. And then for spell work, you can use a bee for both light and dark. If you're doing a jar spell for you, you can use a bee itself because they do represent both. Yep. That's exactly. Yes, there's so many things that you can do with the bees that pass naturally. And I do believe that by doing something with them, you're also honoring them. It's personal feeling. Again, I'm throwing that out a lot today too. But yes, look up, do a bit of research on bees and what they represent, and you will be able to see. Yeah, protection magic. That's another good one. Like Gina had said, baneful, benevolent, healing. I've used bees in healing magic. Because I don't know if anybody knows this, but my daughter's biological mom used to come out to the ranch, and we would catch a bee and have it get it to sting her on her hand, and it would help her with her arthritis. So they're also good for healing, and healing magic. So there you go. Yes, definitely something to collect. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on candle and jar spells, or candle and jar magic, or anything like that? I'm really enjoying this, to be honest with you. I'm enjoying just the sorry, your comment caught me off guard. I'm enjoying the conversations back and forth. I really am. I just love it that we get to just chat along the way as we go. Quick death for me. Oh, I'm taking it that you're allergic to them. I do apologize. That part sucks. But just be careful. Be careful. My sister is allergic to bees also. But I was able to work with her a little bit and get her to be calm when she would walk by the beehives. And she very fortunately did not get stung by them. But then again, Diesel, same EpiPens for the win. Yeah, exactly. But having raised bees, I've come to find that as long as you're not walking through and, swatting at them and being in hysterics and crazy, they don't want anything to do with you or trying to catch them. Yeah, when you're trying to catch them, they're not too happy about that either. But they really don't want anything to do with. They have a job to do, and that's what they're concentrating on is their job. I love what I'll walk right through what I call their bee highways, because when you know that there's a hive nearby, and if you look across, you can see them going back and forth and back and forth. I call those the bee highways, and try to stay out of those highways if you're allergic, please, because they can. It's the yellow jackets, wasps, hornets that are flying assholes. I absolutely agree with you on that one. Oh, I hate those things. My poor grandson, he gets so worried about them, and they get in the house once in a while, and I understand the fear, though. I don't like them. Which don't, Steve, really. I always have bumbles around and an EpiPen in my pocket. Hornets and wasps that I cannot tolerate. So aggressive. Yes, they are very aggressive. Bees are great. They sometimes will crawl on you, but whoa. I was reading. Sometimes I'll crawl on you, but I've never been stung. Just walk slow and check to make sure everyone's off me. Oh, yes, and never stand right in front of the opening of a hive. Yeah. They do destroy beehives, and I hate that. Let's see, random question. How do I preserve lavender so it starts pretty? Mine gets a brown, icky color. My first year planting it, I was so disappointed. I couldn't do more research. So I have found, Christy, that with my, I've got multiple types of lavender. So with the Spanish lavender, I have to grab that literally as early as spring in order for it to, it's not going to keep its beautiful. I've got actually purple and white. They don't keep their color. They will get brown, but I have to collect them like literally as soon as they bloom. Those ones I like to just leave for the bees. Your typical lavender, you can collect like right after their big bloom. And I just hang mine upside down and let them dry out. And some will get a little brownish color, but the majority of those ones will stay a nice, pretty purple. And if I need them quicker, I'll throw them in the dehydrator. So that's how I do it. Okay, Serenity has a jar question. I came in so late. Does the type of jar, example, shape, volume, things like that, to keep what? I'm a little, hold on. Again, I think that's a what feels comfortable to you. For jar spells, what I'm going to suggest, though, is like if you're doing a freezer spell, use a thicker jar, something more like this one. You know, it's just a small, they're Dollar Tree jars. This one is even a thicker glass. Again, Dollar Tree jars. It's just not as thick as the other. What I would not do for freezer spells are these. Let me grab one. I wouldn't use these little jars because they're so thin that they could break in your freezer. You know, so that's one thing that I would suggest. Otherwise, I don't think it matters. You know, if you're doing, you know, burning a candle inside your jar, then you want to go to a thicker jar. Don't use the thinner glass jars. Don't use the, what are they? The tubes. Yeah, or the really, you know, tiny jars for that kind of stuff. But otherwise, no, I don't think it matters. You know, just pay attention to what elements you're exposing it to. If you're going to expose it to a lot of elements like freeze, heat, things like that, use a thicker jar. If it's not going to be exposed to much of anything but just sit on your counter, the nice little thin jars are easy. That's how I would do it. It's just be safe when it comes to that. He loves them but has a possible allergy, so we don't want to test. You are correct, we do not. Been stuck months ago. I was mad, caught it, used it in pain. Was frozen on the ground dead. Well, yeah, there you go. Question on candles. Okay, is there a better wax to use in candles such as soy wax, beeswax, etc.? So if you're talking about candle making, I'm responding on Jenna's comment here. If you're talking about like candle making candle types of candles, again, that's your preference. If you're talking about doing candle spells or jar spells, well, you know what? In all honesty, again, that's your preference. If you want to use all beeswax candles because that's what feels best to you, because, you know, whatever your reasons are, then use them. If you have to use soy because of certain allergies to, you know, the paraffin wax, which people do have, I know that it's out there, then use soy. Again, when it comes to your spells, that's a you do you question type of question. What feels comfortable to you? What makes you happy? What makes you feel connected to what you're doing? You know, I know that there are certain spells. I like using beeswax for love spells. It's just what feels good to me. You know, all about back to the bees, right? Sorry I'm late, but awesome corner there. Oh, no problem being late. Not a big deal at all. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the little dollar store bottles like these guys, they're really good for freezer spells. I've only had to do a couple in my life, but they've worked very well, and they didn't break, and I was very happy for that. You know, like I said though, just pay attention to what elements you're exposing it to. What, you know, heat, cold type of elements. You know, if it's going to be one that's going to be in your car, I would use a thicker jar. Things have a tendency to roll around in my vehicle, and I don't want it to get broken and have to pick up glass later. I put this on my feet. Okay, so, do we have any more questions? or comments or shares. Sorry, I just thought I saw somebody wanting to come in, but no, just walking by. And if not, this girl's going to get back to work. I have so much to do still. It's crazy. Thank you. Thank you very much, Miss Ellen. I do appreciate that. I can't wait. More glass like, and I use those for traveling because I drop everything. Go get my coffee. Maybe I can convince Mandy to come and bring me a coffee if she and the kids start coming this way to help. We're in the middle of pricing right now, so I love you too, Miss Gina, so very much. I did too. I can't wait to give everybody a tour. It's going to be awesome. I will be sharing, and I absolutely loved the fact that my live ended up turning into a chitty chat because I love every one of you to death. We're just reading the comments real quick. You guys are all absolutely amazing. And Linda, yes, that is the plan. Mandy's working on the website. We'll get there. So don't mean to plug again. I'm sorry. That's not what this live was for. I'll do another one later. Anywho, all of you, thank you so much. Dirty chai or blended mocha? Could you do a blended mocha? I loved you. Thank you. No, you know what? It's cold. Hot mocha. Black and white. I want a black and white. I'll text you. Oh man, website and shipping. I'm in trouble. All right. I'm going to get off here. I've got so much work to do. I love all of you so very much. My Wisters, many blessings. Thank you so much for a wonderful chitty chat along with the Candle Live. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Bye-bye now.